Okay, everyone, we're back. This is going to be around my 10 tips. I have this in my hand. 10 tips of basically how you can navigate these areas of unknown, the high highs and the low lows, in a more practical way to keep yourself a little bit more level and grounded among all the change, the chaos, the uncertainty. And here we go. This is going to be a shorter video. So first I'm going to tell you all of them. So one is noticing your daily choices. 2 is routine. 3 is discipline. 4 is playtime. 5 is creativity. 6 is invest in other areas of your life. 7 is lean on community. 8 is invest in learning. 9 is establish accountability, and 10 is focus on your humanhood first. So these are quick practices or daily thoughts and focuses that I just came up with that I thought, you know what, if I had to write down 10 things off the top of my head that I think could help myself and others practically as we navigate these ups and downs, I think it would be these things. And let me start with the first one. So noticing your daily choices. I think any successful kind of self-help guru who has shared information about how to be kind of like proactive, successful, or happy, I lean into Jay Shetty's podcast, the School of Greatness podcast, things of that nature. So I do really like to follow people within the self-help industry. So that's the biggest thing that they've said is across the board, universally, is everyone talks about your daily choices. And one of my favorites quotes since high school, let me hope I say this right, is watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, it becomes your character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. And that's why I can't say who it's from. I think it was kind of an unknown source, maybe like a proverb from some culture. But it was a big point is, except for the thoughts part, I'm like, yes, thoughts. But don't judge your thoughts, but notice when you're giving into the negative versus the positive, the judgmental versus the empathetic, So I just bring that back to say it's our daily choices. When you're choosing how you think every day, when you're choosing what words are going to come out of your mouth, when you're choosing what practices you do within a day, what kind of habits do you have in your actions, how do you show up, how does your character show up, and those are going to affect your life path. And so I think that's like the number one key is when we're in uncertain times, just like we are now in the pandemic, and everyone was in lockdown. People had to find ways to cope, and there were ways to cope that were more beneficial to us and our well-being in ways that weren't, And I'm not there to judge anyone for ways that you coped in different ways, But I think the big thing is just noticing. Just noticing. It starts with noticing before you try to do anything, just being aware. The next part is routine. Across the board, I've talked about this in another video. I struggle so much with routine because I like change. I like things to be different, and there are very small things within your routine. They say like making your bed, drinking water, meditation, I'm trying to think what else. Keeping your phone away from you at night or in the morning, not checking it first thing. I'm personally trying to implement some of these things more in my life, especially in times where I have more free time, but routine. Morning and night routine, because how are you starting your day? How you start your day it can set your day up for success or kind of put you on the wrong side of the bed, right? They woke up on the wrong side of the bed in the morning. they'll say, or how you go to sleep. You know, a lot of us deal with high stress situations and it's hard to unwind. So what are the things you're doing that are healthy practices that are going to help you unwind more in a way that brings you peace so you can get good sleep? Because as we know, sleep is the key to health and success for the most part. I don't know, just my thought. So routine. Now, discipline, I think it goes back to that. Discipline can be so frustrating and so hard in times where it's like, what? This is so out of my control. I tried. I did everything. But sticking to it, I think, really pays off, and saying, you know what? No matter what is going on, I'm gonna stick to whatever I'm doing. For me, it's taking discipline to make these videos, because I don't know who's gonna really pay attention, who's gonna watch the whole thing, who this is gonna help. And you know, in a way, I think it helps myself, but also, I was gonna say, there are times, actually, I'm only in week 2, where I'm like, I don't wanna make one today because I'm not feeling chipper and positive, and I'm not feeling like I wanna get cute for the camera. And it's like, you know what I'm doing? I'm doing it anyway to meet my goals for the week, and I'm meeting you where I am. That's what I'm doing in these videos, is meeting you where I am today, and showing up for myself, because of the bigger picture I have in mind for this. So I think it's worth it, but it also takes discipline on days and weeks where I'm like, I could be doing something else, I could, you know, but I'm gonna do it until it no longer serves its purpose, but it serves a purpose. Playtime. Are you giving yourself time to play? Are you working all the time, or being too disciplined to the point you're not giving yourself time to play and explore? Especially as an artist, that's key. How can you foster your imagination or tell a story when you can't live and play and you can't be present? So I think that's a very important one, is making sure you're giving yourself time to play. And that doesn't have to be creative play. That can just be like going and having fun with people you love. So that's a big thing. Creativity. Are you investing and fostering your creative spirit? And I think, you know, if you ever read The Artist's Way, I never finished it, but it's a big key thing. They talk about going on the artist date, where you take yourself on a date. You do something for yourself, by yourself. Like you go to the movies, or you go on a walk, but you do something for yourself, by yourself. And I think part of being creative is like, maybe you're working on an area of your creativity that's not in your main field of profession, or maybe you're exercising your mind in a different way than you normally do. Like if you're a dancer, maybe you're gonna work on your voice, or maybe you're gonna work on your acting, or reading some poetry, or it's not just movement based, right? Because to generate the movement, you need to be inspired intellectually as well sometimes, or emotionally or spiritually. So creativity is key. I won't go into like practical ways to be more creative. I think most of us know, and I'm making this shorter. So, and 6, investing in other areas of your life. I think that's one of the most key, because you are, and I talk about this at the last tip, but you're human first. Some people identify themselves solely as being an artist. But if it's all about your art, then what else are you? Who are you really? Being an artist, I think, is only one aspect of our identity, and I think it's a huge part. And to some people, some of the greats, the geniuses, the prodigies, they kind of like, it's everything, but then something else in their life was lacking, and then you see really dark things kind of happen in their life, and like some people don't make it through, you know? So I would just say investing in other areas of your life is so important, and I've talked about this in other videos, like in like the cleanliness of your home or your space, or in spending time with your friends. And I'm trying to think of other things, but just, I know for me that's been one of the greatest challenges. I neglect a lot of other areas of my life because I'm so career focused and centric that I kind of, I think, avoid giving other areas of my life what they need sometimes. So, I mentioned the Artist Way. Morning pages is also another thing they do in the Artist Way, and it's worth looking into. I did it for a while, and I think when I was doing it, it did serve me in a small way, which was give me some clarity over things I already knew. But it just reaffirmed the things I needed to do in my life and to know, and to just say, you know what, that's true, right? Because just like dreams or signs, if you want to believe in that, there are different tools that can help you affirm clarity of direction. 7, lean on community. Again, like I said, about talking to a friend, it's, whether it's your significant other or your friends or your families or your artistic community. My artistic community is my second family. I see them more on an average basis than I do family, So these are the people you're living life with, you're experiencing life with. This is the people you're being influenced by and the people you're influencing and having impact on. So really make sure that more than anything, you're not just leaning on your community. I'm going to add contribute to your community. And that's also beyond just your artistic spheres. Like, okay, as an artist, are you giving back to the community? What things are you doing within your community? And for some people, that's like being more involved politically. For some people, that's doing more outreach. And I think making sure you have time to think about who you are, not just as an artist, but as what they call an artist citizen. I think those will help in those high and low times. It gives you something to care about and to focus on. 8, invest in learning. Okay, so say you're auditioning, and you're not booking anything, or your network, like everyone's struggling, just like we saw in the pandemic when theater workers were some of the first people to, like, Broadway theater workers to lose work, whereas some of us were still having some other resources because we had the side hustles and things like that. And so we saw this happen, and I think a lot of artists realized, oh wait, I need to learn something new. I need to get creative here. I need to turn on my entrepreneurial side. I need to learn new skills. And I think as I get older, especially, I realize, I need to keep learning new skills, because the more skills I have, the better I am at my skills, the more opportunities I have. And also, it just makes you a cool, interesting, fascinating human being that hopefully other people want to get to know, and you'll find yourself being magnetized towards people who are like-minded. So in fact, you'll actually be elevating yourself and kind of the value you bring to society in that process, and then you're actually going to surround yourself with people who are high-value people. 9, establish accountability. So things might be going really well, they might not be going really well, but who holds you accountable in life? Are you getting, in your high highs, is your ego starting to get too high too? Or in your low lows, sorry, I got distracted for a second. In your low lows, are you just giving up? Are you slowing down? Are you quitting? It's okay to take breaks. Everyone has to listen to what they need. But I think it's important to have accountability, because if you know this is what you really want in your field, you really want to be in this field and in this industry, then you have to have accountability, because we can't do this alone. It's too hard. you can't do this alone. So you need people who are gonna force you to work a little bit smarter, not just harder, but if you struggle with laziness, maybe harder. If you struggle with working effectively, maybe people that help you work smarter. Or maybe you're doing the most, you're doing too much, and you need people to bring you back down and say, it's okay. That's my version of tapping someone on the shoulder. It's okay. Breathe, be patient. We all need people in our community to hold us accountable and to help keep us grounded. Last but not least, number 10, focus on your humanity first and foremost. I know I already talked about this a little bit, but I would like to end it with something my brother told me in high school. When Miss Overachiever here was staying up till who knows what hour. I was doing this all the time, senior year of high school. I wasn't even at an academic magnet school. I was at an arts high school, and yet I was doing the most, and I would barely sleep. I just couldn't even take care of myself. I almost fell asleep at the wheel like once or twice coming home from the studio. Because I was president of the National Honor Society, I was a dance major, I was at the studio, I was in the professional company, the teen company, the musical theater company. It's like I was trying to get all the good grades and do everything and be part of all the projects, and it was too much. And my brother said, Emily, what are you doing this for? Why do you need to be validated? And it was so true. I was doing all of this because I thought I had to do this in order to get into a good school, in order to have a good future, a good career, and be successful and have my biggest dreams come true. But what I did senior year of high school was not that important in the grand scheme of my life. It played a factor. If anything, it taught me the lesson I needed to learn, which is to try to put less value on needing to get validation from good grades or achieving this or that award or title. And I know I probably seem hypocritical by making a video, right? But the point of this video in part is to give other people tools and to spread the message and to spread this message of investing in your humanity. And going back to that story, he was like, and this is, what you want to believe or not believe. He said, you don't own anything. You can't claim anything to be yours except for human being, child of God, and your name, right? Those are the only 3 things you own. And if you don't believe in God, that's fine too. It's like whatever you want to believe in the universe or not or nothing, it's fine. But you do know humanity. You are human, and you have a name. And those are kind of the only 2 things we really know for sure that we really own, right? Because our bodies are infallible. And same thing, I'll tag him here. Same thing he said was like, okay, what if you identify yourself as a family man, right? Okay, you put all this value in your worth in your sense of family. What if your family gets taken away from you? That happens. People, in an instant, that can happen. What if you put it all in being a dancer and you get injured or you get disabled? And we see that a lot now with people I know being injured. It's like, I'm sure it must be devastating. Even when I have small injuries, I'm freaked out and I'm like, what am I gonna do? And it's depressed. I get depressed. And that's even just with small injuries, because I put too much value on this identity that I've been building for myself. And so I share that with you because I think, we look here at social media and everything, and it's like we put value in how we're putting ourselves out into the world, and we're investing in all maybe the wrong things. So at the end of the day, it's not like how nice your place is, how much money is in your bank account, how many turns you can do, what credits you have on IMDb. I'm just throwing out things. You could have the greatest career and then make a total bust, or do something horrible and then people cancel you. Cancel culture is real, people. It's very real. Your value is not in that. It's not in what people say you are. You don't own much, but your humanhood, right? And especially, one thing I heard is from Elizabeth Lale in an interview with Artist Strategy, who I love. I'll have to tag them at the end. They do, I've done business coaching with them, they're amazing. They did a live with Elizabeth Lale, and she was like, my fascination, I don't want to misquote her, but her fascination with acting and like why she does what she does is to study the human condition. And that just hit me so much in recent months. Is like, what a gift. What a gift it is to be an artist and to get to study the human condition. But in order to study it, you have to experience it. You're living it every day. And this is part of your path as an artistry, is everything that's happened to bring you to the moment you are today, the way you were born, the body you were born into, the mind you have. You know, it's like, these are all part of the pieces of your study and your human condition. But you have a choice every day in how you show up and how that story is going to be told, because it is your choice. How you think, how you speak, how you act, how you show up in the world. And I would just say to that is like, keep focusing on your humanity and your artistry will unfurl in the most beautiful way. And yeah, I should probably just leave it there. I could say more, but keep focusing on your humanity and your artistry will blossom.